Hey everybody, Thomas Vanderkin here from the Vanderkin Verse. You can't believe how excited I am. I've got Vern Fernandez here with me. He's senior manager for contact center excellence. Hi Vern, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for the time, Tom.
And you're with Jabra. We had a little pre-call about a month ago, and I couldn't believe how interested I got in what can happen and how contact centers can really be taken to the next level. Like we're not using 50-year-old technology anymore. You guys are doing some great stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this time together.
Right, right. We had a really great talk about what Jabra can do and how to kind of unravel what you thought a headset can do.
Yeah.
And let's just take a look at what it can do now. So we're giving you some live demonstrations today, and we'll talk even deeper into what we
Okay.
can do with the technology.
Yep. Well, and I did get sent some sample devices here. I had the Engage 275, which was great. The Engage 55, and then you have a call center discussion for us to have around not just the device, but the data from the device, how it's being used. So I want to jump into, I guess, the product since that's what gets me excited. So you want to talk a little
Sure.
bit about the Engage?
Sure, yeah. So, one, I'm glad to see your product in your office there. I always feel like Santa Claus when we talk to people. We get to change
Exactly.
people's lives with what we do. And so, what we're going to be doing is talking about the contact center headset that we have here at Jabra. And so, I'm wearing our Engage 50 headset. Um, and just to give you an idea of what this headset can do, I am in a live coffee shop. This is not a backdrop. It is kind of building up. There's people right behind me. And just to kind of show you how loud it is, let me do a live sound demo. We did this with Tom testing it out, and
Yeah.
I just want to see how loud it is. I might do this a couple times.
Okay.
Right,
Let's see.
right, right now it sounds like Rick Astley's playing. You might hear Rick. How does that hear?
Yeah. We hear the background music a little bit, but it really impacts your audio too, the way your microphone's picking up because it's getting some of the background noise.
Right, it's very loud here. So let me switch it
Yeah.
back. So we're going to do that a couple different times here
Huge. Yeah.
as well now.
Yeah. Thank you. I can hear you very clearly now.
Great.
Um, so in addition to the hardware, you guys are using the device and software you've created in the contact centers, right? Can we talk a little bit about how that's going to work?
Sure. So let's just kind of look back at to what has happened in the past with headsets. In the past, headsets have been something that you kind of just put on last minute onto a call center. You spent a lot of money on the call center, and sometimes people are just like put whatever headset you want on it, and we see that quite a bit. But now we're starting to see that your call center is going to depend on data, possibly, to drive applications, to drive speech to text, sentiment analysis, and things like that. And how do you get that data if you can't cancel the noise to drive your contact center? So there's a chipset inside my headset that's a little bit different that Jabra did first in terms of putting in something that can not only cancel noise around me, but also give you data as to what my environment is like. So I can give you the decibel levels in this room, and now we can make decisions around that. I can tell you how many times I might be muting, and I can kind of come up with a story around average handle time with that, right? I can also do things like understand the crosstalk and silence, or whether or not my boom is if it's in the right place, right?
Yeah.
So if it's in the wrong place, it can actually screen pop me and say bring it back down here because we're trying to cancel noise and pull data. So those are all new things that we can do with a headset.
So if you're a call center employee and you're coming back from lunch, you accidentally leave your boom up, at a 90-degree angle instead of the preferred, 100-degree angle, it'll
Yeah.
pop up something on your screen and say, hey, check your boom angle or something.
Yeah, so the headsets with the digital chipset with 3 microphones. There's some parameters that there's certain headsets that will do it. So this headset
Okay.
will do it where it'll screen pop me and say, move it back down. or we can create a real-time coach, right? Especially for those at-home hybrid workers.
Can you tell me a little bit more about real-time coach, what that might look like?
Yeah, so we have some, one, the headset itself generates data to become things that are coachable around. So let's just say, because I can tell you the decibel levels, right now it's probably around 68 decibel levels. And I can catch that information to you real time. You can put that anywhere that you want into some, some platform or some single pane of glass. And now you can coach the agent to basically say, well, it's loud around you, but you don't have to mute 5 times. Like I have my mute button right here.
Yeah.
Every time I press that, if I think it's loud here, you're losing a second per call. And it doesn't have to be a coffee shop. This could be a doorbell and a dog barking at home, right? This is just an extreme example of how we
Yeah.
can now use metrics from the headset to kind of see what's going on and coach around it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not in a call center, but I'm on calls all day long. I use your Jabra Speak puck.
Yeah.
This device here,
Yep.
which is
Affectionately
amazing.
known as a puck.
Yeah. But I don't know how many times during the day it's like, oh, I go on mute because there's a leaf blower in the background, or somebody at the doorbell, or a dog barking, and then you forget to go back on. It's kind of become a meme, right? It's like, you're on mute. So if we
Right.
didn't have that pressure of feeling like we always have to go on mute as soon as we hear anything, I guess that saves 30 seconds here, 5 seconds there, a second here. It adds up, especially in a kind of pressure packed call center environment.
Right. And time is money for the contact center. Unlike the UC folks and people who do our jobs, when every second is tracked just to keep the wait times down, any piece of data you can get to add to the data lake is something that we now provide from the headset itself.
How does it improve accuracy by having a Jabra headset?
So it's interesting, we attend a lot of the conferences and contact center conferences, and we talk to a lot of people about, what types of platforms and technology are you deploying on the back end, to get that next generation contact center. A lot of it involves speech to text, right? And speech to text will drive things like biometric authentication. It'll drive sentiment analysis, or it'll drive agent assist, pushing knowledge to the agent based on what's being said. And if you don't have it today, many people are shopping it, right? So that all depends on data accuracy coming from here. And so we've actually talked to a lot of companies that have deployed some of this technology, speech to text, and they had to turn it off because they just couldn't get good enough data.
Mm-hmm.
Just from a bare bones standpoint, not even counting any analytics, you still have to cancel this noise to get that data.
Yeah. So you showed me a video last time we were together. It was pretty impressive about a company who rolled out some of your software to their employees. They, I was delighted to see that the employees actually found it helpful, because they're being measured and they want to be successful, right? So the best employees, if you're giving them kind of real time metrics on how they're doing, how they're are the customers delighted with the call? Are they, by the tone of their voice, are they happy at the beginning and not happy at the end, or are you keep them satisfied even when they get excited? That kind of stuff. It can really it's that kind of real time data that a good employee wants in order to become a great employee, I guess, right?
Right, and so much of that AI is being enabled by just pure voice data. Can you read it or not? And there's many different types of sentiment analysis. Many of them depend on speech to text just to catch keywords, right? And so what you don't want to do is spend 300 grand on licenses for that kind of technology and have to turn it off, right? So a lot of times we see a benefit in just focusing on what we call the kind of the bottom of the pyramid here, or bottom of the cone, or the bottom of the funnel. You spend all this technology up here, including your speech to text sentiment analysis, or your entire platform, your agents, and then it really comes down to that headset and what that agent is wearing, right? So that headset has to drive everything on top in terms of the
Yeah.
data that it feeds to that funnel and to the engine. And if you don't if you don't really take care of your headsets or put the right on, it's like putting a wagon wheel on a Ferrari, right? You built this engine that's going to perform high for your company and be the lifeblood of your customers. And then when you put any headset that can't handle this, or just a simple doorbell or dog barking, and it really affects the customer experience, and it almost negates a lot of the value that you try to build in.
I guess I went pretty deep, pretty fast into the data analytics. Now, I'd
Yeah.
like to step back a second and just talk a little bit about what do you see? The question everybody has, and you're probably seeing it more than anybody frontline, back to work, right? And
Yeah.
uh, I think a lot of call centers and contact centers never did leave.
Right.
But a lot did, and now they're. I had a customer, and right at the beginning of the pandemic, they said we've got 4,000 employees with desktops. We need laptops as soon as possible because we're sending them all home tomorrow. How are we going to get
Yeah.
these employees up and running? Well, that was it's over 2 years ago now. So now, uh, are you seeing people opening their call centers? Has it already happened? And are they equipping them with the right headsets? You guys seeing a big demand, or where's back to call center at?
Yeah. So let's go with that. So back when COVID first happened, we saw people buying any headset just to get people home. And then we actually surveyed them in 2020 during COVID to see how is this changing you. We found that agents want to spend 3.2 days at home now. Um, and now we've got to find the right technology to find that balance. Um, Back in the early days of contact centers, you can pretty much lose an agent an extra dollar or two in pay, right? Poach an agent.
Yeah.
Um, Recently, it was kind of what was the facilities like? Who's got the prettiest contact center, and where what are the services and amenities available to me? I do think that in the future, there's going to be an element of um, freedom that you allow to the agent to increase agent retention. So I think that that's something that we see happening in the market where agents are going to want to, they're going to be required to work from home or maybe come in, but then they might discover, well, my headset can allow me to work at a coffee shop or my kids' volleyball practice. And because we can camouflage them, it's going to kind of beg the question of, where do they want to work? How do they want to work? Right.
Yeah.
So I see it starting in the office, and some people from a policy standpoint will say, we don't want you working out of the home, and some people might allow it. And so I think agents have the opportunity to become a digital nomad, you know. And so there's enabling technologies around that. There's ways to make it work, and we feel like we're a part of it.
And what I'm seeing is they've established a home work environment in a lot of cases is really nice. They've got they've got a great monitor, they've got a great setup, and they don't want to go back to an office that's a downgrade from what they've built, over the last couple of years.
Right, right. And we're seeing something like a lot of call centers are working with what's called asynchronous scheduling, right? So instead of your typical 8 to 5, how do you balance when an agent is actually doing things, taking kids to school or picking them up, or maybe they're working shifts from 7 to 9 instead, and how do I schedule around that, so that you're really integrating life and work at the same time. Um, so there are a lot of people that work really well in that situation, and there are a lot of people that miss the busyness of a contact center as well.
Yeah.
So we've got to be prepared for both, because I think there's always going to be both. There are a lot of agents that are just like, wow, my morale is it's tough, you
Mm.
know. And there are a lot of supervisors that we hear from as well saying, well, it's tough for us too, because we're used to throwing parties and popping balloons and
Uh,
all the fun stuff we used to do. So
yeah.
where's the community, right?
Yeah. Everybody looking at the board together, seeing who's, stat leader. Where'd that
Right,
go?
exactly. Just camaraderie in general.
Yeah. So I've got the 55 here. Let's take a look at it. All right. So
That's great.
a few things that I really liked about it. I lost my camera for a second. We'll come back.
Sure.
Hold on. I think my computer's having a bit of an issue, but let's focus.
And I brought my Engage 55 as well.
Okay.
If you want me to bring mine out.
Yeah, let's see yours. Well, my
Yeah, let me just pull it from my bag here. And then we can kind of go over the differences of what I'm wearing and what I'm showing you. So let me pull that for a second. Let me get that. All right. Is everybody still there? We're coming right back. Okay.
Yep, we're here. And if anybody watching has questions, just put them in the chat and we'll pose them to Vern.
So what I'm showing you today is I'm wearing a corded headset today, which is the Engage 50 with the digital chipset for noise cancellation. I also have a wireless version of this called the Engage 55. So it is a wireless headset, and it comes with a decked dongle, which is very important. When you take a look at a decked dongle, this is designed to plug into your USB-A or USB-C port, and allows me to go from a corded headset to a wireless headset. And we're actually seeing that with a lot of agents. They start out corded at home, but then there are things that they need to do at home too while they're on a conversation. So being productive at the same time is really leading people towards wireless. So the way that this works is you plug it into your port. You can see that's very flexible, so that if you bump it into a wall, it's hard to break. And there's just like a little button here that pairs it up with the headset itself. Now there's some real advantages to going with the decked frequency, in that you can walk further, about 490 feet in your home, which is upstairs, downstairs. There's also that ability to manage the wireless frequencies should they go back into the office. So a lot of times, people want to be wireless in terms of their job, and you really can't do that with Bluetooth, with a lot of Bluetooth in the same place. So these headsets can be managed to run at a dense environment. And you can also do things like push whisper tones and zip tones through there. You can also do things like pair 4 of these up to this dongle, so I can do side-by-side training if you want to do things like that in the contact center. So it's very versatile using a wireless decked headset as a contact center agent.
I did a test. Hopefully some of you got to see my YouTube video of the unboxing, but I was walking around the backyard. I couldn't walk far enough to get the sound to, to stop working. The deck was amazing.
Yeah. You could almost walk your dog within an inch of this headset here.
Yep. Still trying to get my camera back here, but you're doing great, and you got a great background there. So another question I had for you was gamification is a word that you mentioned when we've been working together. How can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. One of the things that we've had some people do is take the data from our headsets and actually gamify it. So, for instance, if I have metrics, decibel levels, or crosstalk or silence, and people have taken that information and put it on a Six Sigma dashboard so you can kind of see how it affects the rest of your metrics. And 2, they've also taken a look at how do I reward agents for being under a certain decibel level, or cross-talking a certain percentage of a time, or muting less, right? So for instance, a lot of headsets, when people purchase them, you don't know when the agent's muting. So in here, I could be muting 10 times. Right now, the steamer's going. I could be muting and basically taking off seconds. So if I press this button, I can track how many times I'm muting in the call. That can be gamified, right? These are also programmable buttons here where you can say, does the agent need help, or is it a wrap-up thing that you want to be able to do? Or like the simple dB levels from from my boom here can be gamified as well. And what you can do is you can see that there are colors on my headset, right?
Yep. Red.
So you can have those colors mean whatever you want to in a call center. So for some of the brick and mortar folks that we're talking to, you can see that my headset can change colors here. So you can
Yep.
see there's green there. And you can change it. You're still there, right? I didn't lose
Yeah,
you.
I'm just trying to see the color change. A
Okay,
little glare. Yeah,
there's the
there's
color
green.
change right there. And now
Oh,
it's
to
red.
red, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're saying that it's not just mute, unmute. You can do other things with those colors.
So there's 7 different colors, and we already have customers using them for agent status. So is the agent on the call, on a call? Are they available? Are they on queue, off queue? In some cases, is it their birthday?
Oh, right.
We have one gamification company using it to attribute that to a type of car that you have in a game. So if in the point system you start out as a Model T as your avatar because you're doing so well here, then you go to Chevy, then you go to Ferrari, then it
Right.
actually changes colors so you can look around the room and see who's top dog today, right?
Is it every day they start over at the bottom, or is it like do they build up over time? However you want to play it, I guess.
It's up to you in the game. Now, what we're seeing is, only a few, call centers are really kind of completely gamifying now, right? Maybe I'd say 10 to 15%. So it's an up and coming technology, but not a lot of people know that you can do simple things like this with the device to be part of the game, right? So as you're shopping these WFM solutions, know that lights can be part of it, or
Yeah.
data from the headset.
And how are contact centers improving customer satisfaction by using this data?
They're really trying to see so because I can give you the decibel levels from my headset, what can you do with that, right?
Hmm.
Maybe I can find out if my calls are going a little bit longer because it's louder around me. Maybe I'm surrounded by distractions and it's affecting my handle times. So maybe I can do some coaching around that. Maybe I can use that information to route my calls around. What time zones is it loudest for my agents? Specific standard time loudest in these areas around 7 o'clock. And are my average channel times typically higher in there because of noise and busyness in the kitchen,
Yeah.
where the agent's working? Do I want to route my calls around noise? Um, we even have a customer who's mandating somebody, their entire outsourcing set of agents, about 40,000 agents, to use this headset because they want a DB analytic. They want to see how loud it is across their entire contact center, both outsourced and insourced,
Hmm.
so they can make decisions around that. Like, let's just say that when your outsources is just way too loud and it affects your average channel times. Now I have data to say, well, I'm going to do my business elsewhere, right? So there's
Right.
some accountability stuff that you could do, all in the name of increasing customer satisfaction, right? Lowering wait times in the queue.
And I guess you can look at your call center DB analytics and see how you rate compared to other call centers. If you have that kind of information to say, are we best practices or do we have areas we can improve once you have the
Right.
data?
Right. You can also see DB levels going into the ear. That's another point of information. So from agent health and safety and risk
Yeah.
management point of view, there's a lot involved with that too.
How is it? We talked a little bit about coaching. Um, any specific examples of how you're using the analytics to help coach agents?
Yeah, so because we have analytics coming from our headset, um, we can do real time coaching wherever you want to see that. So, for instance, we are working on a integration with Salesforce for a little screen pop to pop up to say what the noise level is of the room,
Hmm.
whether or not the headset's even connected. if you're on mute or not, if the microphone boom is in the right or the wrong place, if you're cross
Yeah.
talking a lot or not with a customer. So these are things designed, especially when you have like hundreds or sometimes thousands of agents and only so many supervisors that can't see anything. These real-time coaches and widgets and pop-ups using data from us save time, um, save time for the agent.
Do most of your customers use, you know, Salesforce or what is it? The other tools to integrate, and then there's like an API into the data from Jabra, or do they use your own Jabra tool? How does that work?
Yeah, so there is here. I think I can share this. Maybe
Yeah, see if you
um,
can.
let's just see if I can share this. And what I'll do is tell me when you can see my screen. If it takes a while, then we'll turn it off. But um, what I'm going to do is share real-time data coming from our headset. So can you see my screen, or is it still thinking?
Looks like it's not working. I think it's thinking.
Okay, so let's turn it off. So
Sorry, that would have been
that's
good.
okay.
Next time.
That's okay. So the data available from us is open in it's open SDK data, meaning that you can pull the data from the headset and place it wherever you want. So that means that I can put it in ServiceNow, I can put it in Nectar,
Right.
I can put it in your homegrown, solution. It just takes a little bit of development, and we're working with some of the partners out there to do that homework for you. So it's just an easy download to get that information versus opening up the headset and working with the data. Point being, there's a lot of new use cases for that data, right? But there are also easy ways to get at the data um, into your single pane of glass, however you
Yeah.
want to see it.
If I'm interested in this, I am a decision maker and influencer for contact centers. How do I? What should I do next? I just kind of use random headsets. I've probably got 10 different brands around through my 4 call centers. What's the next steps?
So I would say the first thing is that we have many different headsets, right? And they all come at different capabilities. It's always great to test them minimally just for noise cancellation. Um, with Jabra, it's very easy to call us up and say, "Can I try one?" You know, and then work with one of our folks to try one out, and then see how it cancels noise. And now it's getting loud in here. Um, and what I
Nothing.
want to and
Okay, yeah.
what I want to do is when you take a headset, record your call like this, and decide how you want to sound. Right. So let me let me do this one because there's definitely a loud group by me. So take a look at this. Here it is. Still
Oh
loud.
yeah, I can hear something back there. I don't know, the music's playing. A lot of people talking. Yeah, it's very hard to hear anything else.
Yeah. So. Okay.
Yeah.
So give your headsets this kind of test in this kind of environment, whatever you have.
Wow. Yeah, so when you noise canceling, you're talking about the mic noise canceling and the changes it makes, not the acoustic noise canceling, of the headset. So yeah, that is a huge, huge difference.
Yeah. Because, like I said at the beginning, we're also generating data while I'm free to work here. Right. So you have agent retention because I'm happy because I can work anywhere.
Yeah.
And then you have a win for the AI because you have clean data. And then the customer wins because I still sound clear.
Anything, we're getting close to the end of our time here, but I always like to ask if there's anything new coming, anything exciting, anything we should be. I mean, this is exciting to your current products, but anything new you want to talk about?
We have, so look for Jabra to release about four new devices and services on September 15th.
Oh,
So watch our website, which is right around the corner. I can't disclose too much here
okay.
before then, but we do actually have the second generation um, of this particular headset that I'm wearing right now. So the noise cancellation is great now. what else can we do to this headset? Look for that in about a couple weeks, about 3 weeks.
Great. Anything else you wanted to mention? Did I miss anything that that you'd like to talk about?
No, I just love the opportunity to talk with you. I feel like Jabra's got a new story out there around what we can do with our devices. And I think it's the right time to check your devices and see what makes the agents happy. Because if the agents are happy, then they're able to make their customers happy too. So,
yeah, I really appreciated your time, Vern. Obviously, you know a lot about contact center excellence, and I appreciate it. This will be recorded for both YouTube and LinkedIn, so I'm sure we'll get a couple thousand views. Hopefully, some people will reach out to you, and we'll keep talking as we. And I look forward to something around September 15th. See what's announced.
perfect. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you, Vern. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.